الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له. ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله ونشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. قال الله تعالى في القرآن المجيد والفرقان الحميد بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وتعاونوا على البر والتقوى ولا تعاونوا على الإثم والعدوان واتقوا الله إن الله شديد العقاب. صدق الله العظيم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
All praise be to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who has given us the tawfiq to sit and listen to the blessed words of Allah and His Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. You know, sometimes the Jummah is a time when a person is able to recharge himself and prepare himself for the week ahead. Or sometimes a person who is not very frequent in coming to the masjid, it is an opportunity for them to bring their iman up and to help themselves and to feel some kind of peace and calm. Because these are the reasons for why we have the masajid, in order to remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And it is a way of getting away from the dunya, that when we come to the masjid, we do not expect to hear about the news. We don't expect to talk about the problems that we have going on. It is a way for us to just turn off and try and focus on the connection that we have with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the people before us who were around 40, 50 years ago, they had a better chance and they had better reason and ability to be able to focus on the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the reason why is because there was little distractions. There wasn't as many distractions as we have today. And the distraction which I want to speak about today is the one that I am holding in my hand. Each and every one of us has one, and that's what we need to do with it. Throw it away. The mobile phone. And the mobile phone has become something without it, many people feel like there is something missing. It has become a part of the, you could say, the clothing that we have. One of the first things that a person picks up before he leaves the house, and he double checks and he triple checks and he makes sure, even when he's sat in the car, he'll check his pockets. Have I got my phone? Yes, got my phone. Nothing else matters. Because nowadays everything is on the phone. That you can even pay for stuff with your phone. You have your Apple Pay and whatever the Android version is. And we have Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You know, the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was sent into the dunya, and the answer to everything was given. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knew exactly what was going to happen 1400 years after the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that these things were going to be out. You know, even if you look back 20 years, I still remember that my elder brother, he had this like a brick of a Motorola, and it had the flip on the keypad, and then you pull up the aerial, and then you're just about able to make a phone call. And if you go on to the next stage, then you had the Nokias that came out, and the 3310, they had the tiny one, the 8210, and there are all these different small phones. And if you're to explain these things to the likes of Arman and other youngsters, they would not be able to comprehend that, you know, what kind of a phone was that. And these are the times that people have went through. And if you ask those that lived in those times and they are living today, and you tell them to compare, they will say that those times are better. Because those times people would actually speak to one another, and people would, you know, there would be less distractions, and there was more of a human connection. And this is what we are missing today, and this is what is the difficulties that we are facing in the Ummah. That because so much is available at our fingertips in such a short space of time, that the want and the need for more and more and more just continues to increase. And a person can never feel content anymore. That when you look at the other side, we have social media, and people, they are comparing their lives to those that they see on social media. And when they see the pictures of the celebrities or their friends, that why does my friend have this? You know, I should have that as well. And many a time what happens is, in order just to be at the same level of his friend, he will go out and he will borrow money from someone. Whether it is through halal means or haram, he is going out and he is borrowing money. And then majority of the time, that person, he is not even able to afford that thing, but because he wants it so much, he'll go out and he'll make sure that he gets it, just to show his friend that, look, I have got it as well. And when we look back in the days, these things were not happening, because, you know, the way that you are able to see, you know, just with one touch of a button, you're able to check what is going on around the whole world. Before, when you wanted to find out what was going around the world, you'd have to make a phone call, and then they would tell you. And those phone calls were such as well, I remember, that you had to buy the calling cards. And then after buying the calling card, you'd have to put in all those long numbers. And usually what would happen is sometimes you'd hit a wrong number somewhere, and then you have to cancel and start all over again. So there's that whole long process. And then the line would be so weak as well that you'd not be able to hear half of the conversation. So technology has gone so far forward where it can be used either to benefit us, or it can go the other way as well. And this is where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He mentions in the Quran, وَتَعَاوَنُوا عَلَى الْبِرِّ وَالتَّقْوَى, that we should help one another with goodness and piety. وَلَا تَعَاوَنُوا عَلَى الْإِثْمِ وَالْعُدْوَانِ, and do not help one another with sin. And وَالْعُدْوَانِ is like arrogance. And because of these things, and then it says وَاتَّقُوا اللَّهِ, and fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will question us about each and everything that He had given us and all the blessings that we have. Today we are able to do so many different things with the technology that we have, but it can very easily be taken the other way as well. Where a person, instead of getting closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he will go further away. And like all things, there are always benefits for one thing, and there will be other things which are not very good as well. And some of the things that I want to go through with everybody is that, you know, a lot of work has gone into the work and the effects of what social media and technology has had on the people. And one thing which always happens is that the self-esteem of a person, it can either go up or down. A person, how he feels about themselves. And a person, if he is always comparing their life with other people, then that self-esteem is going to go down. Why do I not have this and why do I not have that? And if we look today, the rates of suicide are going up. Why? Because people are always attacking one another, not able to take what other people are saying about them. And this is where if a person is able to control themselves, then they should always be careful and wary about what they are saying to others. This is what our deen teaches us, that yes, we have the rights upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the things Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will question us about. But also there are those that, you know, the people that we had in our life, how did we treat them? Even those people that we have, you know, there's a lot of people that we have never met in our life, but people they keep interaction with them over the internet and over social media. And this is where they have to be very careful that they do not hurt anybody in such a way. The next thing which a person is, like I mentioned before, is the human connection. It's not there anymore. The way that people used to meet up together and they would be able to have a conversation, this is not really happening anymore. Why? Because of the phones. What usually happens when people are sitting in a gathering, a lot of the people, they'll have their phones out and they'll be on their phone and then talking at the same time. We see with the youngsters nowadays the most that they cannot function without their phones or a tablet or an iPad. And this is where it gets difficult, that because of them getting into this habit, they find it very difficult to have a human connection with one another. That they're not able to go and speak, and it's like they're in a game their whole time. That's basically what it is. That their whole life is like a game. That they're just going from one level to the next. And this is where it is important that we teach them that, you know, when everybody is sitting together, then phones should be put away. And everybody sit together and actually talk with one another. This is what will make the love grow between each and every person. Another thing is that because of phones and because of technology, our memory has become weak. That people are not able to remember as much as they used to before. That because of always constantly staring at screens, the memory becomes weak. When we ask, you know, there's many elders who they know the whole, you know, all the phone books by heart. That they know all the numbers of the people that they call. And they'll always remember it. They'll tell you stories that happened 50 years ago, and they'll remember all the details as well. And this is because on that time there was no other distractions. They remember all these small things. And this is what happens when a person gets into so much technology. Then these are some of the things that can affect his brain. Another thing is that when a person is constantly on his phone or using some kind of technology, they get deprived of sleep because it's so difficult to put down. That what happens is they have a long day and they don't get much time on their phone. So when they get into bed, it's okay, now is my time. Let me go through all of my 2,300 WhatsApp messages and watch every single video. So there's someone like that. They like to keep on top and up to date with everything that is going on. And whereas this is the time for sleeping, but they are too busy catching up with everything that they missed out. And so they find it difficult to then wake up in the morning. And what happens in the morning is we have our Fajr Salah. And what is more important, keeping up with your WhatsApp messages or praying your Fajr Salah? And definitely it is praying your Fajr Salah. And because of a person being so into his technology, what is going to happen is he is going to get deprived of his sleep. The next thing that we have to worry about is the attention span. What happens is that because everything is so quick on the phones, the internet is so fast, the connections and the one thing that we can mention here, as soon as there is a little drop in the Wi-Fi speed at home, the children come running. Say, Dad, what's going on here? Why is it taking so long for this to update or that or this? Each and every, you're all smiling and laughing because you know it's so true. And you're probably the same as well. You're probably wondering as well why you're on the phone. why is my Wi-Fi so slow for? So you phone up the company as well and tell them and complain. But this is, we're so used to everything being at such a fast speed that we do not have the quality of sabr inside us anymore as well. And the attention span is the most important thing. That children nowadays, I have seen while teaching, they get bored very easily. That they cannot concentrate on something for probably about 2 minutes. After 2 minutes, they get bored and they want to start doing something else, and they'll look at their friend next to them and start talking. And this is the effects of the social media, and because of the technology and phones and everything, that even when they are on their phones, they'll play a game, and that's it. They'll get bored of that, and then they'll go on to the next one. So all of these different things, they are having an effect. And the way that we can help to sort these problems is by putting a limit on everything. We're not saying that just stop everything and go back to the Stone Ages and everybody go hide in a corner, but the main thing is to put on a limit. When a child knows, I shouldn't just say child, because we as adults, we are getting, influenced by the same things as well. So we have to put a limit on ourselves, that this is the time that I will use my technology. We should not use technology just before going to sleep. It makes it very difficult for a person to fall asleep because of his eyes hitting that light. And they're very clever, the ones who make the phones, and they put on a night mode and everything so that you continue with it. But the best is, 1 hour before sleep, we should not be looking at any kind of technology. And we should make sure that we do those things which have been taught to us by Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam before it is time to go to sleep. So we prepare for our sleep in such a way where we are ready to sleep with wudu, and we are reading all of our surahs, and we are making sure that we act upon all of the sunnahs that Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam has taught us. When a person does this, not only will he get the reward of sleeping in the sunnah way, but he will be able to have a better sleep, and inshallah he'll be able to wake up for Fajr Salah as well. There are even etiquettes that should be followed while we are using our phones, while we are on social media, on WhatsApp, all of these different things. For example, we are living in an age where a lot of messages get forwarded, and without even looking at it or reading it properly, we just forward it on. And many a times it is something to do with deen as well. And there might be a Quran ayah or a hadith which has not been translated very well, and then it gets passed forward. And the best one is that something always gets sent, and said that if you do not send this to 10 people, then this is going to happen to you, and this will happen to you. All these, none of this is all bakwas, rubbish. None of it is true. That in order, they're trying to brainwash you and get you into a spot in such a way where if you don't read this and if you don't do that, there's no such thing like that in our deen, where if a person doesn't this, then you're going to have bad luck for the rest of his life, all of these different things. So the main thing a person should do is, when you receive a message, you read it properly. See what it is saying. And then if you have any questions about it, you ask somebody who is learned, and you send that message to them and you check, is this true? After doing that, then you can forward it on if they have confirmed that is true. If not, then we should just leave it. Many a times we forward stuff just for the sake of forwarding it. That we have that one guy who's always forwarding us stuff, so we forward it to him back. We have a forwarding relationship with that person. So the best is, the amount of time which gets wasted in doing all of these things, we can be doing something so much better, which is the dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or we can do some other kind of ibadah. On the phones we have the Quran reading apps, everyone has it. So open up the Quran instead of doing all of the forwarding. But especially when it is no benefit being done. And another thing is the privacy of a person. Sometimes a person, he might send you something, but he doesn't want it to be sent forward, and we just send it just for the sake of it. Some people might like to see this. This is, unless we have the permission of a person, then we should not forward anything. We should not record a person without their permission. We should not, take pictures of somebody without their permission. Of course, the ulama, they differ in whether it is jaiz or not to take pictures and videos. But again, that is a different matter. But the main thing is that we should not be causing any trouble or harm to anybody else. That because of what I am doing, somebody else should not be getting any kind of difficulty. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will question us about the way that we use our phones, the way that we have the technology. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will ask us that you had all that time on your phone, what did you do with it? What did you do? So this is where we have to make sure that we are not causing any problems to anyone, and that we are not wasting time as well. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the understanding, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the tawfiq to utilize our time in the best way possible. Ameen wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. We just wait for the adhan to be called.